Did you hear the story about the girl named Melody who was running late for her hair appointment, but she decided to stop by the grocery store and get some wine anyway? Well, she ran inside to the back, grabbed her favorite bottle, and ran to the front. But of course, the grocery store was packed with people, so she had to find the shortest line, which had three people in it. She stood there, shifting to the left, shifting to the right, kind of wondering, if her hair was going to turn out right tonight. And all of a sudden, she took a deep breath because she smelled something familiar. What was that? And she realized it was Creed. As she looked to her left, there was a man standing there, and he looked at her too. That was Jeff. Creed. She remembered that smell, and she remembered those hands, how they would roam all over her body, and she would just lay there motionless like she was helpless. She remembered that his favorite thing to do was to use his fingers to bring her to climax, and she would just go crazy, screaming and crying, and he would whisper in her ear, just a little more, just a little more, and she could not even take it. She missed him. She missed that body. She missed that chance to just roll around in bed and just have a good time with a lover who was attentive, with a lover who loved to see her squirm, with a lover that used his hands and his body as though they were tools for her pleasure. She remembered, but she also remembered the way he ghosted her. As she stared there, looking him in his eyes, and he's looking her in her eyes, she's starting to get angrier and angrier as she remembered being in love with him like she was never in love with anybody before. Him telling her that he was about to go off and meet his friends in Atlanta and he was going to come back after the weekend. But after that weekend came, he never spoke to her again. He ghosted her, blocked her on every platform. She heard bits and pieces about what he was doing, but he never contacted her again. He never told her what happened. So she's smelling his cologne, looking this man in the face for the first time. He's looking nervous at her, and she's about to explode. Before she could open her mouth to say something to this man, all of a sudden a woman walks up and puts her arm around Jeff. She starts nuzzling her face in his chest, and he's still staring at Melody. And Melody's like, what? She looks this girl up and down, and she starts to feel self-conscious. Man, this girl looks well put together. This girl has beautifully manicured nails. Her sweater's looking right on that body. The jeans are looking perfectly tailored. Even her shoes look brand new. She has a scarf around her neck. She looks like she smells like cotton candy. Melody's starting to feel a bit awkward, like, whoa, is that his new girl? But before she can even think too hard about it, the girl actually turns around and looks at her. And Melody gasps, like, what is going on? It's like she's looking into her own face. The girl has the same eyes that she has, the same round nose, the same full, luscious lips, and even a mole in the same place on her cheek. The woman smiles at Melody. Melody manages to give her a half smile, and then Melody notices the spot where Melody has a scar on her forehead. The woman doesn't. She's actually perfect, unlike Melody with a bonnet on her head, raggedy gym sweater, and dirty shoes on. Melody's feeling so uncomfortable. The girl turns back around, starts ringing up the groceries, and Jeff takes out his card and he goes to pay for them. When Melody sees this, she's like, I cannot believe this is happening. This man ain't had no money when we was together. Now he's paying for everything. Melanie looks down at her own wallet. She knows she has a card in there, but it got about $12, just enough to get this wine app so she can have her money to pay for her hairdo. She says, you know what, forget it. She jumps out the line, starts to walk to go put her wine bottle back, when all of a sudden she feels a hand tug her hand. And she looks back and laughs. Bash? It's her old neighbor, like from her old neighborhood when she was growing up, Sebastian. But he sure grew up nice. I'm talking about tall with sandy brown hair. He got a little nice smile. She always thought he was going to be handsome when he got older, but since he was younger than her, she didn't pay him any attention. But today, he was looking right, and she was feeling like, wow. But then she remembered herself, how raggedy she looked, and she was like, oh, hey, how you doing, Bash? It's good to see you. And he's like, come here. He's about to check out. He grabs her bottle of wine, puts it with his groceries, checks out, and they walk out together. She's feeling relieved because at least now she doesn't have to seem like she's all alone. And they stand outside in front of the store catching up, and he tells her, it's so good to see you. I always had a crush on you. And she's like, right, okay, great. Thank you for telling me that. And he says, no, seriously. And then he takes his hand and he touches her scar on her forehead. She's like, stop. And then he takes her hand and he says, look. And he touches her hand to his forehead. He has the same scar. They got it the same day. And he said, remember this? We're a match. She starts to blush, like, what is going on? This young boy, like, really? But you know what? I need to smile today, so I'm going to allow it. But before she could finish cheese, she hears a car horn honk. She and Bash turn their heads to see who it is. And it's her ex, Jeff, riding in the car with the girl. The girl is staring, but not at Melody. She's staring at Bash, and Bash gives her a look like. Melody looks at Bash and says, Sebastian, do you know that girl? Bash looks back at her and says, yeah, that's my ex. Like and comment for part 2.